You played New York last
Yeah.
year. You lived there now as well.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
How interesting is it?
Very interesting, so much so that it's kind of overwhelming. So I don't do a lot.
You just sit around there.
I sit around and I make an occasional song and I take a lot of walks, you know, because it's easy to get around. So basically, I just like the feeling of being there and sort of pretending that I live there.
Yeah.
But playing is great. I mean, the original intention was to put myself in a place where I kind of had to step up my game a little bit. And people there are used to, you know, seeing a lot of music.
It's a bit more pressure.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting to feel it, you know, that I have, you know, that I have to kind of get in there. In the beginning, I just wanted to play and see how the audience reacted to the songs. And I've been getting some good feedback, but now it's time to kind of like start to formulate some real plans.
Yeah.
And that's not really what I wanted to do in the beginning. I just wanted to have a feeling of what it's like to play songs there. And I think the idea came when I started touring outside of Belgium. I went to Scotland and I went to Ireland and I played a couple of shows on my own. And I saw that immediately what happens when you step out of your comfort zone and you play for other people is that your songs start to change immediately. So I thought, okay, if that's the case, then it might work.
Yeah. So your song's more adaptive to an American audience now, to the New York scene or something?
I don't think so, because I've always been kind of on my own, and I think these days, you know, the kind of scene that you might find in Brooklyn or elsewhere, it's not necessarily what I'm about. Or I don't, let's say it like this, I don't go looking for it. I'm kind of on my own. So
it's funny you said that, because on the last album, you sound more like a band than ever before.
That's true. That's probably by the fact that we're all playing our instruments instead of programming stuff on the computer.
But it was a bit of a coincidence how that started out in the first place.
Not really. It was really intentional. I think when I met Jeff and we played a bit, I kind of like had it in the back of my mind, like, okay, great piano player, so.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's make some songs, you know. But it couldn't happen when we met. Koba was there as well, so. It was like, oh, we should come back to this. But it was actually intentional in the sense that it was me really taking the decision to write songs in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be even more the case, because being there alone and playing alone makes that happen. I think the songs also change, you know. It's not like you just superimpose a vocal on something that's there. You have to sort of do it as you go.
But it gets better and better, just like your wine, it matures with the years.
It should, I hope so.
Yeah,
otherwise you're doing something wrong. But it should be like that.
If you compare things on the Dangerous Return to Broad Daylight, how you figure yourself, what's your kind of evolution you made there?
Well, it's funny because that song for me is still similar to what I do, and it's one of the only songs that kind of like was kind of an alien song on the first record, because it's not, doesn't fit with the rest of the songs. And I guess I still make this kind of music, you know. It's kind of you know, they sound like, you know, sometimes to me they sound like old children's songs sometimes. Not all of them, but that's certainly in this record as well.
Yeah. Were you surprised that people like Van Gogh, for instance, in Holland, use Broad Daylight as his personal theme song? It was played at his funeral.
I was surprised. I knew the song. Honestly, when I made the song, I tell this to everybody. It sounds weird, but it's the song that most. I don't really feel like I made it. I mean, I know that we worked on it and everything, but it came so suddenly, and it was like a, you know, sort of a rush of a couple of hours, and then it was there, and of course we did it. Me and Bohart were there, but it doesn't feel like the other songs. So basically, when I heard it coming out of the speakers, basically what is on the record is a demo. We never mixed it. It's like a stereo mix. And I felt like this is great, because if, you know, I felt really excited about it, because everything kind of happened. And I thought that if you played it on the radio that it would attract attention, but I didn't know that somebody like him would sort of have, you know, a personal affinity. And I still don't know exactly why, because he didn't tell me.
He didn't tell, no.
He just said he really liked it, which is enough for me, you know.
But it was strangely a bit politicized on a certain level.
Which was weird.
Yeah, because it wasn't a political song at all. So.
Yeah.
Well, your live sound at the moment, the gigs you play, they surely sound a lot different than the gigs you used to play the last couple of years.
Yeah.
With Jeff and Kobe.
Yeah.
As a big influence there.
Yeah.
What's it going to be in game? Because I haven't seen you live in about 2 years.
Well, basically, we toured in December. We did all these theaters, and it was great because we really got really tight with the three of us. And now we're playing with Ruben Samama on bass, who usually plays with Jeff in his trio, and Stoffel, who played in so many groups, Belgian multi-instrumentalist. And the reason why we took 2 more people is to make, the stuff sound a bit more like the record. We didn't use a lot of bass on the record, but when we did, I think it makes a difference. If we play Dauphine, for example, on a big stage without bass, I think people will feel sort of like a hole. It's like something's missing.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think it gives it that kick. But basically, it's not back to the old days when I played sort of festival music. So I ask a lot from the audience in the sense that the songs. I mean, we're playing Tidal Wave and songs that are kind of waltzes and.
Yeah, quite difficult to perform.
But it's really fun. Like I think where I get my kicks is from seeing sometimes these people, especially young people, who expect a rock band or maybe they expect me to do some of the old stuff, and to see them sort of go like, what is this? And then all of a sudden they get, either they go into it or they don't.
Yeah.
But it's nice when they do. So I get more excited about that than doing the usual festival tricks,
Okay.
So.
Right. You don't play a lot in Belgium this year, which is normal, I think, with all the
Yeah.
things that are going on at the moment. You played Lokeren, though.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a strange venue for you to play.
Yeah, I played Lokeren a lot, so that's going to be a challenge.
It is, yeah?
If we can-
15,000 people?
Yeah, but that's exactly what I want. I'm convinced that people can get into it. I mean, I think it depends how you try to convince them. But
Yeah.
that's up to me, so I have to see.
Yeah,
what,
definitely.
I mean, Werchter Classic is also
Yeah.
going to be a challenge. It's going to be in the middle of the day, and the music we're making sounds very different than what we used to do. But at the same
It's more
time,
club music,
yeah,
cozy club stuff.
it could be. But I mean, we've had some really powerful performances where even I've underestimated the songs. So I think it can be pretty powerful, but we have to. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me after the gig tonight.
I will. Sure.
But it's certainly not an acoustic thing. It's not a jazz thing. It's
No.
not meant to be a soft thing. It's just I don't want to get there with the usual tools. Meaning a lot of
So it's
musicians.
still an experiment, even live now.
Yeah, usually, I don't know, sometimes I've even seen people on their own that sound to me louder than the whole rock band.
Yeah.
And that the reason for that is the focus of what you want to do. So I'm convinced that you don't need necessarily those elements. But at the other end, when you don't have the distortion and this stuff, then you have to figure out
Yeah.
how to get there, and that's what we're going to see.
Now you've got excellent musicians, excellent
I
songs
think so
that come
too.
along with it. Okay, Gabriel, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.